we had to get ourselves a new fridge. So it's nice, keeps food cold. The problem though is that it is too tall. This cabinet comes down too low. So I thought of a couple options. I thought because this cabinet has a lip on the bottom, it's got some area where I could just cut this out. I thought that might work, but unfortunately the doors, I mean, they'll hit the fridge because the fridge is up on a slant. So I can't move the doors up because then they won't match the height of the rest of the doors in the kitchen. So the cabinet's got to go, and I'll show you how to do that. Step one is to get all the decorations that were up on top of the cabinets and put them on top of the fridge. And then find the location of the screws. So I've got a screw here, and I think one over here. And then I noticed there's one between the divider. Let's get a little closer so you can see what's going on. That's a little better. Okay, so this is the cabinet that needs to come out. There's a screw here holding these together, but there's also one inside the cabinet, which you might not be able to see. Oh, it's right there. So those all need to come out, and there's probably going to be, oh, let's come over here. There's probably going to be some on the underside too. So the bottom panel has to come off, and that's going to be my next step. I almost just got myself in the eye with a pry bar, so put on safety glasses. If you look under here, it's pretty thin tolerance all around. So I can't really get the pry bar under. So I'm just gonna probably have to break this board, which doesn't matter because I'm not keeping the cabinet anyway. And then I'll be able to see what kind of screws underneath. If you like splinters, that's a great way to get splinters. So just future reference. So it's a good thing I took that off because, okay, we got, well, that's not a screw, that's not. Got one screw here, it looks like. That might be it. One screw in the bottom, really? All right. But it would not have come off the wall. It would have been flopping and messing around. So that's step one, or step two, whatever step we're on. Step C out of, yeah. So make sure you leave all those splinters on the floor. You want evidence that you actually did something, right? Don't forget to grab a knife. That's not a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
And cut along your paint line because it's going to be attached to the wall, and if you don't, you could actually pull paint right off the wall and it's going to be a mess. We're going to have to paint behind this anyway, but I want nice clean paint lines. I don't want like a big chunk taken out. So just cut right along there. You're just trying to separate it. So I almost got into trying to take the screws out, but first of all, I need to cut this trim, Otherwise, I take the screws out and it's just gonna snap somewhere and look terrible. This trim looks terrible and I don't like it, but we're not gonna replace it right now. That's a project for another time. So what I'm gonna do is come over here and I'm gonna cut well into this side. There's a nail right here, so I'll cut just on the left side of that nail. So it should, when I pull the whole cabinet off, it should just have that part sticking out. And then eventually I can cut a proper miter on there to match up with this one that I'm gonna pull off of here. Maybe. And it'll look right again. Hopefully.
Oh, check it out. It's a wild doofus, doing what doofuses do best. He's carefully cutting through the trim so as to not mar the surface below, even though he's going to be throwing the cabinet away. Doofuses are amazing creatures. So strange.
Okay, it's separated, that's good. The next step is to start taking out screws. I'll probably do the bottom one first, then these side ones, then this one up here, and then finally the two on the top. Maybe. I'm here alone though. So if I take out the ones on the top last, then I've got to be reaching up here while holding this. Can I do that even? If I can find it. That's a big if. We gotta take the top ones out first. Yeah. Let's do that. Not a fan of square drive screws. Come on. Can I come up here and see? Come here. It's not that exciting, but I just thought I'd share. So I'm just gonna move the secret candy stash out of the way so I can get my drill in here. Don't get any ideas. You break into my house, don't be trying to steal my candy, all right? Steal my fridge or something like that. Don't be stealing our candy. So you may recall, I already took the screws out of the top, and the only thing that's holding this cabinet on the wall right now is the one underneath, technically. And then there's these two right here. So as soon as I get these unscrewed, I need to have my hand on that cabinet so that it doesn't try and fall off the wall. I think. I will see if maybe there's another screw somewhere holding it on. I don't think so, but almost. So you want to hold on to this thing tight. It's going to try to fall. And I'm not a fan of things falling on my head.
I also don't want it to just fall and like gouge the wall, so that's why I'm holding it like perfectly in place as possible.
There you go. Look how pretty the wall boards were in this mobile home that we live in before we moved in. Man, you think we should just strip the paint off and go back to that? Pretty nice. So if you also have ugly trim on the top of your cabinet that you want to keep for some dumb reason, then just carefully and slowly try to pry it off. and there is a brad nail coming in here, so I want to pull it off straight if I can, and that should let the brad nail come out. We'll see. Just work it slowly from one side. Just gentle prise. Like I said, if you go too fast, then it's gonna snap. Most of the brad nails pop through. You can see them right here. But that's okay, because I'll just try and hit those holes, and then I can put some clear filler or whatever in there. It's not a big deal. Most people aren't going to be looking at that particular spot. So I'm just going to break this one off anyway. One thing I did forget to do, I need to measure from the bottom to the top of this miter, the distance, and then up there I have to go the same distance and cut a 45-degree angle so that miter matches up with this one. I'm going to show you a trick for measuring that angle of the miter corner. Get your combination square, loosen it up. Line it up right with your trim piece, right at the very end. Make sure your arm's in the way of the camera, or not. Right to the very corner. And then just slide your thingamabob.
You want thingamabobs? I got 20.
Till it lines up from above. And there you go. You don't even have to measure. You can just use this, whatever that measurement is. Obviously I can read that it's like 1 3/8, but you don't need to look at the measurement. You can just gauge the other one off of that. If you tried to do it with a tape measure, look how much play you'd have. And that would most likely leave a gap. I don't want a gap. Now I just take that measurement line up my combo square to the top here and flush here, and you can put like a pencil or something to it and just butt up to it, then you know you're flush there. Then just make a mark.
So instead of struggling my way through this part, I should have just followed the shadow line of the top right to the bottom left. My combo square was right on it, but instead I made it tough.
I don't know if you can see it, but I actually have a line there. Look at that. We're gonna try and cut it. I'm gonna cut outside the line. That way, if I have to, I can chisel down to the line. If you cut right on the line right at first, then you're just out of luck if or when you're off. Also, gotta do this at an angle. Should be super easy.
So I have an angle going this way too.
And I just need to match that. It doesn't have to perfectly match. As long as the tip matches, I can cut the angle in more on the inside, which is what I'm going to do. That way the inside doesn't push out. It'll make sense in a little bit. So if you want to get this angle right, start at this high point of the angle and then put your face in line with the corner of the cabinet and start your cut there. Then you'll automatically be set up, good to go, and just start cutting.
Dad,
Yeah, dude.
I thought you would paint back here. I thought when we got the house, you would paint back here and then put that back there.
Well, I would have had to take the cabinet off the wall to do that, so I decided not to.
Buddy, it looks like that Daddy took the cabinet out.
Yeah,
What's that metal bit right there?
I think it's plastic, and it's just to try to make this ugly trim look better. It's not succeeding, but
I think it is. It makes it shiny.
oh, okay.
So shiny.
No, I don't have anything in the freezer yet. I was waiting for the freezer to get cold enough.
Is it cold enough?
It should be now.
Would you look at that? First try. Cool. So where the screws came through the cabinet to attach this cabinet that's gone now, it left some chip out. So I'm gonna take just a little bit of CA glue and put it in those areas and try and mash it in with a hammer. Not like smacking it, but just like pushing, and maybe it'll help. Let's see.
Why are you making a YouTube video about that?
Maybe someone will find it helpful, bud.
Did you figure this out all by yourself, Dad?
Yeah.
Pretty weird. Luckily, I won't be in my class to do this weird craft.
You just said it was really cute.
It's cute and weird. Not weird.
Just like you.
Cute and weird. Combined. More cute than weird. And this shows
I didn't like the way that it was up there. There was a little bit of a gap, so I pulled it back down and then put some CA glue on it and actually attached the miter with CA glue, and then I'm putting some on the back side too, just to hold it a little better. This way there shouldn't be a gap.
That's it. Done. Alright, it's done. Stuff's put back together. Next step, I'll prime and paint all that, but that's another day. Got a crisper for keeping things crispy, like potato chips. Thank you, Brad Regan. Ooh, hello.
Are you recording?
Trying to. Coming. Working. There we go. Is it zooming? No? It's not zooming. Anyway, it's in there. Okay. So all I need to do is keep I need to keep, I mean, how do I do this? I'm gonna keep something. I don't know. Let me pause this.